what's in store for us is a big question, and that's the question that makes everybody very, very nervous, because we were very optimistic last year this time, thinking that this is going to be something, a wonderful year with a lot of revealed goodness, and this was a year of a lot of surprises, a lot of revelations. So where's the goodness?
There has been a lot of goodness. Unfortunately, it was a little camouflaged by the confusion and by the negativity. Yeah, it was a very mixed year. But the process of separating the good from the evil is a difficult process. None of the sages who could foresee it wanted to be here when it happens. They were all happy to be in the past. Although, of course, they wanted it to happen. But, so you see, all the problems began when we entered into the world of the tree of knowledge. I mean, we were told up front that that's what's going to happen. We're going to go down into a world where there is good and evil mixed together. The mixture of good and evil can be a very exciting challenge, but it can also be devastating, where eventually you just don't know anymore which is the good and which is the evil. And so there's a need for clarification, a need for, what is the word, the sorting out and separating the good from the evil. That's what we've been seeing for the last 3 years. Layer after layer, where we got to the increasingly worse evil and increasingly better good. So if, you'll go back to the beginning of COVID. Yeah, there was confusion, medical confusion. What is it? Where did it come from? What's the right medicine? Should we take it? Take the injection. Don't take the injection. It's the best thing. It's the worst thing. We've never had such a crisis of health. Then it went into politics. Then it went into education. Then it went into gender. Until we're left with no concept whatsoever of right and wrong. Killing, raping, murdering, burning babies. Is that wrong? It's not so simple. It depends on the context. Fighting a war, protecting yourself, defending yourself, killing the enemy. No, that's wrong. You've never had such chaos in the head. On the other hand, with every passing month, people became more sensitive, more considerate. Not in the headlines, not in the public view, but everywhere in the world. People are talking about God much more. People are praying much more. People are reaching out to each other out of genuine, sincere concern. So we're getting much, much better. Godliness is becoming far more popular, identifiable, comfortable. People who would never say thank God. now are saying, thank God, with the help of God, God willing. So the world has polarized to the extreme. What's coming in the coming year? All the miracles that we've been ignoring, the miracles that have been happening, which we didn't really make a big deal about. "300 missiles or projectiles coming from Iran, thousands coming from Hezbollah, thousands coming from Gaza. And no one is killed. How do we not rate that as miracles of biblical proportion, if not greater? A missile landed in Tel Aviv, or just outside. It was aimed for Tel Aviv. 2 people were hurt by shrapnel. This is... So really what we're seeing is this. Every time Israel does the right thing, it is miraculous. Literally, I mean, even the enemy are calling it miraculous. This pager thing with they said it was 5 years in preparing. Even so, it is such a delicate operation. The slightest variation, one thing goes wrong, pardon the expression, and it all blows up in your hands. So every time Israel acts courageously, with confidence, the miracles are just endless. And every time we hesitate, and every time we play politics, and every time we go by the Geneva Convention morality, which is designed for babies in a playground, doesn't go well. In a great degree, when we do the right thing and the miracles happen, the world is a little more accepting. There's far less criticism or condemning. It's almost like they begrudgingly have to say, yeah, well, look, they are the chosen people, so what do you expect? So when we act like the chosen people and we get the results of acting like the chosen people, the other benefit is the world says, yeah. Even our enemies say, well, yeah. Yet they're the chosen people. On the other hand, every time we don't act in a Jewish fashion, when we play the game of politics, not only are there no miracles, but the avalanche of criticism and condemnation and hatred just overwhelming. So it's so clear, it is so obvious to anyone who's paying attention. And the people paying attention most are the terrorists. They know how hard they're trying. And in their mind, there's no question the God of Israel directs their missiles to where they don't do any harm. There's no other explanation in their mind. And therefore, it's so confusing to them when we don't attribute it to God. They can't understand that. So really, that's what we should be doing. We should be bringing the world's attention. Did you notice how God is protecting us? That would be great. What's coming in the coming year? The cleansing process, the sorting out process, separating the good from the evil, it's still got a little ways to go. So there'll be more of that. But really, the bulk of the news of the coming year is that goodness has finally replaced the confusion. God has become real. People will start getting their lives under control. The evil is done. It's finished. The final surprise is who is going to admit, who among the bad guys is going to admit their mistakes and who are going to try to cover it up and have to be exposed. But it's all going to be exposed. It's already started here in America. The swamp is much uglier than we thought, and it's coming apart. It's destroying itself. It's going to be ugly, but it'll be a relief. Like lancing an ugly boil.
Rabbi Friedman, if you don't mind, I want to point out a really obvious miracle that for 4 years we had the blessing of hearing you on Russian-speaking radio in America, addressing our community. I don't know how that came about, but I every day view it as a miracle, as an open miracle that we get to hear your wisdom. And for 4 years, we've been from the start hearing what you're saying right now. It's all documented. We have a whole channel dedicated to it. And anybody who wants to see it for themselves, it's archived from the start in consequential order. And you've been saying everything you've been saying all along, and all of it has been exactly as you've been saying it. 4 years ago, the separation of darkness and light, which has started, and I remember that particular program. It was right before Shavuot, the first Shavuot during COVID, that we were first time allowed to go to the synagogues and pray. And when I came there and told it to the community, they disregarded it. But now, 4 years later, it is so obvious to everybody. But the question is it obvious to everybody? Can you just give those, I don't know how for so many years you've been living, knowing the truth, yet living in this world of fakeness. I don't know how you're dealing with it, because now people are waking up and not everybody is awoke just yet. And we have to still live here and understanding where we're going, but we're still here. And it's sometimes extremely hard to know the truth and yet to be in a place where not everyone has accepted it. So, of course, my question is, how are you doing it? And what advice do you have for those who are wide awake versus in this world, and how to deal with it? Because sometimes this gets very hard.
Actually, the people in the world that I deal with and live with are all coming around. So all I see is people waking up. I hear in the news about people who are not. So it's very helpful to see it happening. I just came back from Memphis, Tennessee. A whole community, a whole congregation. And to them, it's not even news. Say, oh yeah, sure. Makes perfect sense. This is a project that has been going on for 3,000 years. Well, 2,000 years. As soon as exile became a reality, we realize that this is what's going on. Living in Israel with a temple under King Solomon, with all the prophets teaching and inspiring and the miracles that were, we didn't see the evil at all. But it existed. So for us to actually see it, God did us a big favor and spread us all over the world so that we get a good taste of every kind of evil. And boy, have we had a huge meal. 7 courses, not 5, of every kind of exile, of every kind of challenge, good and evil mixed together. When we thought the Hellenists were right, Greek culture seemed to be the truth. Many Jews confused it for Judaism. And then the Renaissance and Napoleon's New World, New Age seemed like, oh, this is the epitome of Judaism. And then, of course, communism, the other Jewish religion. And it really was. So we went from all of these evils that were masquerading as good, and all the good of Judaism that we thought was terribly old-fashioned and politically incorrect. And now we realize it's so brilliant. It's so correct. So that's what we've been doing for 2,000 years. And our prayer has always been, sometimes subconsciously, but our prayer has always been, we're floundering, we're confused, we're bouncing off the walls, one philosophy and another, one system and another, experimenting, getting hurt, being devastated, being disillusioned, falling deeper and deeper into the swamp of amorality. Nothing is really true. No one way is better than the other. The 60s. Everyone has their own truth. Try it, you'll like it. If you don't like it, try something else. Life is one big experiment, and no one knows right from wrong. No one can say for sure what you must do, what you mustn't do. It's all just a big experiment. We're just evolving, and whatever we evolve into, well, that's what we're going to be. So we really don't even have to have an opinion. We don't have to have beliefs. We don't have to have a moral code. Let's just go with the flow. And of course, that created all sorts of grief. People don't understand each other, don't know each other, can't rely on each other. Society falls apart, families fall apart. Just absolute chaos. All along our prayer was, why doesn't a created being know its creator? How did that happen? How can God be the master of the universe and we have no idea? It's our universe. It's the universe we're living in. How do we not understand our own world? How do we not understand ourselves? So modern psychology came along to explain us to us. Disastrous. It led to self-indulgence. It led to narcissism. It led to entitlement. It led to children who can't accept a single instruction from their parents without rebelling. More chaos, right? But I think our prayers are finally going to start producing results. in the coming year, what we pray for on every Rosh Hashanah and every Yom Kippur, may every created being know its creator. May every formed being know who formed it. May every designed creation know who the designer is. That's all we really need. Then the confusion goes away. Then the good is good and the bad is bad. And when the bad is just bad, nobody's interested. Might as well disappear. So this is what we're going to see. The evil is going to become uglier, but much less of a challenge. You find something really ugly, you throw it out. You don't make a big deal out of it. It won't be a discussion. It won't be a debate. It'll be ugliness. Get rid of it. And we will be rid of it.
Rabbi Friedman, that's the big question. Who is good?
If you enjoyed this conversation or this topic, and you're looking for more information, or you want to hear it again from another angle, there's a way to do that. And that is in this book. It's all there. Order it from Amazon. You can read it, reread it, and share it. These ideas, these messages, this approach to life, this approach to Torah, to meaning, and to morals is vital for the world today, and we need to get this message out to the entire world. It is universal, it's essential, it's indispensable. To support this effort, if you want to be a partner in this crime, check out the link and make a donation. It really helps a lot. And thank you in advance.